Hello, everyone, and welcome to Source Energy Collective. We're so glad you're here. We have Jerry, Larry, and Carol today. Do you guys want to pop in and say hi?
Good morning to everyone.
Hello, everyone.
And Jerry's gone to get a coffee.
Good
Um,
morning.
oh, there he is. So today we were talking. I woke up late, so I'm all still in a fog. So excuse me. But they were talking about gold, and I don't know if you guys have noticed or are following or have followed silver. So when I started this path, a lot of people were talking about silver, 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 right? And I was just waking up and just kind of like coming to different things. And honestly, I thought everybody was a little bit cuckoo in here because they were like talking about like aliens. Like I woke up with COVID and I got the fact that the thing was not so great and something weird was going on in the world and everybody was being like super um nasty to everybody else. And that was what was my kind of like instigating fire. But then after that, being around this crew, they started talking about like the galactics and like star families and like what is it? Um, people coming here, envoys. And so I was like, what? Right? Like, why? There's like aliens? Like, what are you even talking about? Like, I don't know about these people. So then they started talking about silver. And I was telling my husband about silver, and I was like, they say to buy silver and crypto, right? So I bought a few coins of silver. I bought in at $25, like a little coin. And my husband was like, that will never happen. They've been saying silver was going to go up so much. And everybody on these channels was like, get silver. People were selling like big, huge blocks of like silver, like the 1 bar gold bullion things, right? And it was in silver. And of course, like I didn't have the cash to get that. So I only got like what I could get. But I'm glad I got what I could get because the chains are coming off silver, and it's going up and up and up a couple dollars every day. The chains are coming off. So I don't know much about it. Like I said, I'm going to stop. That was just a preface of it. So it was like, I'm really glad that I was able just to keep an open mind. I've always been that way, allowed people different like um aspects because I don't feel like if somebody believes something, they're making me believe it. And if they make me believe it, that's no possible way that they could do that. So I don't feel it, any sort of like hesitation being around people like that. But I always keep an open mind, and that talks to me about the momentum forward. I'm so glad I kept an open mind and kind of like experimented with it, like I do everything, and then come to my own terms with it. Right. So, yeah, I'm glad I bought some coins of silver. I think I have about 10. So I wish I had like 1,000. but, but yeah, I'll just mute and let these guys like share what they know about silver and gold.
Yeah,
Larry,
we
did you want
we
to give us a
yeah
history,
we
Larry? Go for it.
we were talking a little bit about the history of silver and gold, and I did just give a little brief history. I'm going to try to repeat it a little now. In the Constitution of the United States, uh, developed originally 1776, but it was more formalized. Probably took a while. They had to survive the British, the wars with the British after a while. But basically, the Constitution specifically gave that coinage would only be in silver and gold at a certain amount of you know refined amount in certain it was specified in the Constitution. And that went on for quite a while. There were you could even buy collectors coins from the 1800s, and they had $20 gold pieces, which were approximately 1 ounce, and then they had $10 gold pieces and $5 gold pieces, and they mainly had silver dollars. And so in 2013, no, 1913, some bankers, bankers, we can call them banksters, I think is maybe a more appropriate term, got together in Jekyll Island, made a plan to create the Federal Reserve Board. And the Federal Reserve Board created a private banking organization that was really not federal, and it had no reserves, but they were allowed to set the interest rates and create money. So in 1913, that was signed into law by Woodrow Wilson, President of the United States at a time. And during the Depression of the 30s, I believe Roosevelt was the president, and he basically recalled the gold. They wanted to get it back in the hands of the federal government. The family was only allowed to keep 5 1-ounce gold coins, and they had to give them back to the government. And at that time, the government was valued the gold at $20, so they gave them 20 paper dollars. Might have been called a gold, or 20, could have been 20 silver certificates. Also, there were that was valid for 1 ounce of gold. And so they called it back, and after they after they got most of the gold coins in the treasury, then they revalued it to $35. And that was, again, I think 1936. And then a few presidents later, the U.S. would redeem the the silver certificates, the golds, for actual physical gold. And in 1971, Charles de Gaulle, the premier, or the president or premier of France, he presented the U.S. Treasury to $3 million in paper money, and demanded $3 million in gold. Okay, that next day, Richard Nixon, in 1971, August 15th, closed the gold window, is what he called that. He made a speech, a special speech. And what happened, I remembered, I was driving home after summer job from Syracuse, and I think the price of gas was like 29 cents a gallon way back when. I graduated a long time ago. And the price, I went to the first gas station, and the price was like $1 a gallon. So I only bought 1 gallon, because I thought my tank was pretty empty. I thought the gas station was ripping me off. So I went to the next gas station, still around $1. So overnight, there was drastic change in the value of gasoline, because gasoline is international commodity. And it started, there was tremendous inflation in the mid 1970s. Jimmy Carter was president. We had inflation of 10, 12. You could even, I even bought a certificate of deposit, a 10-year certificate of deposit. I bought in, let's say, in the late 70s. And they paid me 14% interest rate for a 10-year certificate of deposit. So which means it quadrupled in 10 years. So this is the start of the massive inflation of the 70s, and it's basically, that's Jimmy Carter was president. He eventually only one term president because of the inflation problems. And the price of gold in the 70s got up to about $800 an ounce. And right now it's coming to 5,000, and that is because the United States Federal Reserve has continued to print money, and we're not sure how far it will go, but it still appears it 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 may very well still be a good investment, both silver and gold. And then I'll
Awesome, Larry.
leave that story where it is.
Yeah, yeah, we're still kicking that can down the road with the dollar, aren't we? Well, I did pull some cards, and while you were talking, Larry, and it's very interesting. Um, a lot of people right now are waking up to the price of silver and gold just going to astronomical heights, and they're a little concerned because their dollar is rapidly decreasing in value. Our I wouldn't say agreed upon currency, but the one that we inherited, I guess, from the forefathers, I guess we could say, hey, Larry. And it looks like a lot of people are making decisions to walk away from certain controlled institutions that they're obviously seeing is not up for their highest good. And meanwhile, a lot of these big corporations have been stockpiling gold quite a bit over the last 10 years. I think there's like the Brexit. We could talk a little bit about that too. There's like I think there's Brazil, Russia, India, China, South Africa were the first five countries to come together to start collaborating to essentially take down the hegemony of the US dollar, which has nothing to do with the US. It has everything to do with foreign interference. A lot of it is just mobsters, banksters, you know, a lot of occulted um, society, family structures that have been secretly uh, in, infiltrating our systems, whether it's economic, whether it's pharmaceutical, all these different systems are owned by these rich families, right? So that's what that represents. And they're fighting amongst each other right now. They're trying. Greed. There's no ceiling for greed. It's just more and more and more and more power. So that's what we're seeing right now. Is we're seeing a lot of people. Sorry, excuse me. A lot of these corporations and such are they're fighting amongst each other. The families are just if you ever watched Godfather and you see all the families fighting amongst each other for power over drug drug running, you know, I find it very interesting that I saw a meme the other day where they, we can track what somebody says on Facebook and that sort of thing, but we can't find all of the really nefarious human trafficking and all that stuff because it's big business. It's always has been big business for these mobsters and banksters, whatever brings in the dollar, right? So yeah, that's what I got for the tarot pull and what Larry was talking about. Marcia, something's on fire there in front of you.
Carol wanted to say something.
Thank you, Marcia. I was going to go back to the history of the paper money and gold. And so when it was originally set up, the paper was printed currency for the amount of gold that the United States had. And the currency was supposed to be backed up by the gold, that actual gold that we had. So when they print more money, your dollar is worth less, but the gold is worth more. Is that correct? And
It,
now they're talking.
yeah, it's supposed to be that way, but it's been it's being suppressed at the same time. But normally in a fair market, that's exactly what's supposed to happen, Carol.
Okay, and is the U.S. currency basically the and the gold, the U.S. basically the currency that covers most of the global currency is based on, or
Larry, you want to take that one?
Yeah, in I think it was 1985, the United States made an agreement with OPEC, which were the Organization of Petroleum Exporting Countries, and the United States agreed that they would protect the seas to allow for free, transportation of oil around the world, and in for that service, that oil would be priced in US dollars. So what that made, and any country that wanted to buy oil, use oil, refine oil, whatever, they had to buy US dollars. So it gave the US dollar a very privileged place in commerce.
wow, that's interesting. Thank you for all the information you shared, Larry, about that, and Jerry too. And um, it's also being talked about right now in the United States of taking the pennies out of circulation. So if anyone has any comments on that or wants to pull a card on that, that might be interesting. And then I think Marcia's got some cards after that, right, Marcia?
I pulled some cards. Yes, I pulled some cards on the momentum forward for silver. What? Can you hear all that? Dogs are fighting. Again, I apologize, but I'm moving upstairs today. I'm going to make there's so many boxes and stuff in my spare room. So I have lots of work to do, but I have a total vision. So I'm going to make a little office upstairs. So it's going to be less on the noise, but I pulled on the momentum forward with the silver. In the past, I used two decks. So I have the Ace of Cups and the Wheel of Fortune. I'm just getting to know this deck and they're calling everything a little bit different. So the Ace of Cups and the Wheel of Fortune. So what is down goes up. Silver was like put in chains for some reason. They didn't want. This is just my what I've heard about silver. Right? Again, I don't know much about it. This is just the energy of the cards because I don't know much about it. But silver was put down. And what I've heard is silver is in chains for some reason. Silver should be a little bit much more worth, much more than what it is right now. But I don't know why it was put in chains, why it was put so low, but it was. So this is the Wheel of Fortune. So what is down goes up, what is up goes down, right? And so this talks to me that silver was put down, the chains are coming off, and it's going to rise the where it's supposed to be. The Ace of Cups is going to bring people a lot of emotional stability. I feel like it's because it's going to shift. It's not just about silver and it's about who listened and bought silver. It's just like a symbol of the shift of the financial kind of like environment of the world, right? If silver gets its chains off, it's going to shift everything. And I feel like there's going to be a huge shift. I don't know when. I don't know if it's going to be in 2026 or in 2030. Some people are forecasting 2030 when Bitcoin and not Bitcoin, but crypto is going to go up. I still feel strongly that crypto is kind of like the thing to rebalance the playing field, right? So I did buy some crypto. And so there's going to be a change in guard. There's going to be a change, transformation, an ending of something and a birthing of something new, the ending of the old financial system into the birthing of something new. And then the Five of Wands. So the Five of Wands, wow. Yeah. Yeah, Five of Wands. I also got the Five of Swords. So there's a lot of conflict in my read right now. So the Five of Wands is a conflict card. It's like the momentum forward is being stuck, right? So there's still a little bit of manipulation and a little bit of like chains around it, and it's still kind of being held down. And it's weird, right? Like they know that printing money is going to cause mass inflation. They know that. So why is it that they do that, right? And I know that the stocks, everything was going to fall many years ago, but then the banks came in and printed a whole bunch of money and kind of like bailed everybody out. And that's why silver still kept being held down. Everybody was forecasting that silver was going to rise back then, but they printed some money. So I don't know if that's the situation that's happening now. But if you really think about it, it's like monopoly money. It's paper fucking money that they just print willy-nilly. Like why does it have so much value? It's very, this whole financial system is very, very strange. Like on the outside looking in, some people can just all of a sudden print some money and become rich. And then like it's just fucking paper, right? It doesn't make any sense. Um, so the Page of Swords and then the Five of Birds, which is the Five of Swords. Wow. I have the Five of Wands and two Five of Swords. So there's going to be a lot of conflict with the rise of
Yeah,
silver. But yeah, what is that?
I got two fives too. So yeah,
Wow.
so I mean,
And then the
we are gonna.
Page of
Yeah,
what, like, is there like a thing that is people are saying that if silver kind of takes hold, is it the conflict that's going to break silver out, or is it the conflict resulting from the rise of silver? What do you guys think about that?
I think it could be a little of both. That's the divine feminine energy connected to silver too. So I mean, the more that rises, I think we're going to see less of handcuffs that are on it right now. I mean, it's used in all of our technologies. We really can't go forward in our evolutionary process without the use of silver, and it's not a lot of it's just getting put into the landmine it's in cell phones, it's in everything. So there's like little trace amounts of silver in a lot of our electronics that are in the landfill. So they say in the future there's going to be people actually going through the landfills looking for those little bits of silver.
Wow. So this Five of Swords, the Five of Birds, is aspecting the Page of Swords, which is my victory card. So silver is going to come above the conflict that it's facing. I feel like this conflict is talking about the conflict that's holding it down. So silver is going to break through what's holding it down, which is going to bring us into the Ace of Pentacles, which is abundance. And it's aspected by the 10 of Wands. So that means to me that the struggle is going to be over with this breakout of silver, which is going to cause more conflict. And I feel like this conflict is talking about the people that want to keep silver down, right? But it's also going to get temperanced. So there's the temperance card, the alchemy card. That conflict is going to be alchemized into more freedom.
Yeah, I love it.
Yeah.
Love that.
And I have two clarifiers. So I have the chest and the renewal. This is just the advice from Mother Earth. So the chest, it's like that program of lack, right? And that's why we always say there's so much abundance in this world. And it's just the world is abundance. There's enough for everybody. There's enough silver for everybody. Jerry was saying, it's in all our things. It's in the landfills, right? So this is the abundant. This is the lack that we're being led to believe, because I also got the illusion. Whereas in actual fact, there is a lot of abundance, but these systems are the systems that we put in, right? So why did we do that to cause so much lack? Like who did that? The elite fucking did that to keep us like in lack, right? So that's the conflict. And that is the conflict here, that after silver just kind of breaks out. This is just the energy of the cards. Again, I don't know much about silver. So after silver breaks out, it's going to cause a lot of conflict. And the temperance is going to be the temperance of the collective, to see what's going on, to be coming into to be aware of the illusion of lack, that has been blanketing the world, that has been nefariously like built and put on us, right?
Yeah. Awesome, Marcia. Awesome. Larry, did you want to jump in and say anything?
Yeah, I think that yeah, silver, as Jerry mentioned, is extremely
Mm.
useful product, and it's in all our cell phones. It um, transmits electrical energy. It's the best transmitter of electrical energy. So it's in all your cell phones. It's in all the equipment now with all these gigantic AI centers being built, which a lot of them they're just rooms and rooms filled with boxes and boxes that has electronics in it that has a lot of silver. So I think Jerry was correct that um, there will be mining of landfills looking for these small pieces of filter. And what it's such a strategic metal. And what's happened, some have the metal, like China has a lot of metal now because first they're mining it, but they also been hoarding it. And they're going to possibly prohibit the export of silver, to hold on to, some of the commercial aspects around silver. So we'll have to see how, that'll be subject to some conflicts, possibly, whether they're, leading to kinetics. We're not sure about that, but they're, and um, so it'll be interesting. Keep your eyes on it. And of course it like any commodity, it will not only go in one direction. It will definitely there will be some might look like a crash. We don't know where it'll go, but it'll you'll find it less than it is today at some point in time, but um, that is totally unknown. So beware.
Awesome. Yeah, I mean, we've had the we've had it in the past. We used silver, we used gold as a way to trade. I don't see us really going back to trading with gold and silver in terms of out of our pockets. I mean, obviously, cash representation of the gold and silver was useful until now. It's not really useful anymore. And now that we're moving into the age of Aquarius, we're using technologies hopefully to be helping us rather than inhibiting us, which is what it's looking a lot like currently. But it's our job to bring those systems into more of a holistic alignment. And so I think moving forward, we're going to probably end up seeing some form of cryptocurrencies, which actually can be extremely useful if you have someone in a different location and you needed to send a representation of money to them, and then they can transfer it into their own local economy. So it does seem like there's going to be a lot of uses for crypto in some of the hard to get to countries to help a lot of people. So I think it can be extremely useful. Maybe not in the way it's currently being shown right now. Correct me if I'm wrong, guys, but I did hear something about South America. They're working on using Bitcoin as digital ID. I don't know the full scope of the specifics, but it was something along the line that they're using Bitcoin in a controlly type of way in South America, and I think that it's not being received very well by the people in South America currently, because they usually like to do a little test run in different countries. You catch any of that there, guys, at all?
Yeah, there's obviously the ID, the digital ID is controversial because one obviously, you're giving up digital ID. You're just it's like giving up your identity. And they have been testing it around the world. What happened in Vietnam was that in order to access your bank account, you had to have a digital ID. Okay, and they ended up, blocking like 80, I don't know, 800,000, maybe 40 million accounts or something. So these things are going to be, they're being worked out, but there are some difficult situations. The interesting thing about Bitcoin, I think Bitcoin, there only ever will be 21 million Bitcoins mined. And of course, they will probably take another 15 years maybe to mine the last Bitcoin, but there's only going to be 21 million in total. So obviously, um, it's of course you with it being very valuable, you'll need a very small amount of Bitcoin in order to make transactions in the future. And so there will be other coins that will maybe little more transactional basis. So but the digital age is here in effect. It's getting its implemented, and young people now, of course, are much more attuned to, they've like grown up with an iPhone, and they're much more attuned to digitally. In Sweden, you can implant a little chip in your hand, and you can just wave it over a payment you know uh,
Yeah, it's not
and
far from that, is it, right now?
no, we're not far at all. And you know some people say, hey, that's the mark of the beast. Well, we shall see.
It is a slippery slope, isn't it? Because, you want to have security, but then at the same time, you don't want to be controlled or get a ticket for jaywalking. You know, like some places in I think it's in China that have they did a test run where they have that sort of system, and they got all their cameras up there, and then they can apparently they took pictures of our kids in school all through the years, and you know how they basically have and it's been traced actually back to the BlackRock Corporation, all the pictures that your kids get and our kids get in school every year, and they use those pictures to test run their AI facial recognition on our kids growing up through the years. Because if you look on the back of your bank card, generally it'll show that there's a financial institution attached to your
Yeah.
birth certificate. So as we're starting to learn, is that we're just a commodity for some of these organizations that we don't until we actually start to step into our sovereignty will we actually experience true freedom, which I think is why this conversation is so important, to realize that metals are a way forward for us to utilize, but we have to have the awareness, especially when it comes to the digital ID part. Would you guys not agree?
Yeah, that's a very good point. And of course, you know, ideally, what you're doing, you're able to, if you can live more in the countryside where you can, maybe grow some of your own crops like you do, Jerry. Have maybe, if you're lucky, have a spring on the property, and so being a little more independent of the system, may be a way to go. It's not the easiest thing in the world, by the way.
No, it's. Go ahead, Carol.
Oh, I was
Please.
gonna say I pulled some cards on the state of the currency, gold, all that type of thing that I'll just share. I'm new at this, so when I pull the cards, it may not be based on actual normal tarot reads, but my impression of these when I pull them. So the first card was the Five of Cups in reverse. And if you can tell, I'll put it up right. somebody's looking down and 3 cups have fallen over and 2 cups are still standing. So when I looked at this, what I thought, well, I thought first of gold chalices, but what came to me was things will be changing. Some will stay constant, but to be open for change, and it's not, since it's in reverse, it's not a sorrowful. It's to go along with, to flow with, but there will be some changes. And then I got the Two of Swords, which is kind of like not knowing which way to go, or wanting to protect ourselves. But the thing is, there's not just going to be new ideas. All the space in the middle is lots of different ideas. So, like you were talking about, you know, different ways to increase our wealth by gardening, et cetera, those kind of things. And then the next card I got was the Hermit. So it's basically look for the wealth within, look for our inner abundance. And I was thinking, well, that's good for us, but what about for the world? And then I got the Hanged Man, which is basically new perspectives, different ways of looking at things, different ways of accomplishing things. Um, so that's
Beautiful.
what I got. So
That
basically,
is,
things will be changing, but there's a wide array of different possibilities, and being creative and looking within and then sharing, and being open to changing perspectives of things.
that
I
okay.
also got that.
That's very important, because we do. Sorry, Marcia, because the way it's being used as God money right now, what you said is so important, Carol, because we seem to be chasing that friggin' paper dollar around constantly, right? And so we're murdering other countries, other people over currencies. So I think that whole mindset has to change, where abundance is in everything, and we're constantly being led to believe that we have to keep that economic system the way it currently is in existence. It's kind of disgusting when you really think about it. And when you're pulling those cards, it really made me want to share that we need to have a better mindset when it comes to abundance. Thanks for that, Carol. Sorry, Marcia, I cut you off there.
That's okay. I also pulled the Hermit, and the Hermit was aspecting the Four of Wands. So I love what you said about that, Carol, because it's like look going within and looking for new ways forward. And that's exactly what I got, was because like if you notice the Hermit is a 9, right? The 9 is like that chameleon. That's that vibration, that the 9 has every vibration of every single number. It can turn into every single number. It is like the most, is also the culmination number, right? So it's like the ending, but where do you want, exactly what Carol said, is the ending, going within and seeing where you want to step forward, and it's stepping forward from the structures, stepping forward from the Four of Wands, right? So this card also says to me that the human spirit, the human consciousness is alive and well, but it's just under behind like structures. So as we have the Hermit going within, amplifying the human spirit, the consciousness, and using that to see where you want to step forward, right? So
Yeah,
yeah.
manifesting. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I pulled on when is the financial system that we are actually like in right now. If you want to call it the fiat financial system, I specifically said the current financial system, the debt system, what is going to happen with that, the momentum forward with that. So I got the Two of Wands, which is like the choice point, but I also got the Empress. So the Empress is the total divine feminine, right? It is abundance, it is fertility, it is that place where your manifestations, where your word, what you want, comes into form, comes into action, right? And this is the two. So when is the financial system going to fall? It's still kind of up in the air, but the Empress is right there behind it, moving it forward to a place of abundance, which we all know that that debt system is not a place of abundance, right? So in that, it is like moving us away. The Empress is moving in a way because the energy of the Empress does not coincide with the current financial system. So that, and then we have in the present, we have the Five of Wands, and then we also have the Nine of Swords. So the Nine of Swords is not a fun card, and neither is the Five of Wands. So the current financial system is in there. It's trying to keep people down, trying to keep people in handcuffs. And but we're fighting back, right? On a conscious level, on an energetic level, because a lot of people are waking up on an energetic level saying this is not the way that this world is supposed to be. There is something wrong here, and we don't want to play into it. And we're going to use our consciousness to create something new. Because, like, really honestly, take it away from manifestation and energy. That is the first seed of action. When people get into the place where they say no more, and this is not what we want, then comes in like the three, the creation after that, right? The three, the unity, using that thought, that seed to work with others to create, right? So it's not all woo-woo. It is the evolution of consciousness, the evolution of change. Once we see that there is no more, we make a choice, and then we go into working and creating what we want in the future. And it being the age of Aquarius, that is 100% the energy that is blanketing the world right now, right? It is the energy of the world is amping us to create new systems. It's also very technological. So for people who are scared of like digital stuff, like you might want to rethink that because it's not going anywhere. It's just a matter of like not giving your consciousness away to it, right? Not giving your power away to it, but being able to use it because honestly, it's not going anywhere. And then we talked about the Hermit and the Four, right? It's that whole amping up the human spirit, going within and creating new. So we're not at a place of victimhood, right? We're not at a place of waiting for the right ruler to come in, the right politician to take the seat, or like what Trump is doing or what this country is doing. We are the creators, not them. Right? We need to take our power back. Like that's what the energy of the cards is saying. Go into the Hermit, go into the two of wands, right? Yes, there's a lot of conflict, but we are fighting back. Yes, there's a lot of manipulations trying to keep us down in chains, but we are seeing the way forward. And it's not a fight, it's just seeing a way forward. Right. And so now we have the Knight of Pentacles. So I'm sorry, but the Knight of Pentacles is very slow. So it's going to be a little bit slow, but the Page of Pentacles is aspecting it. So like in this kind of this thing, yes, it's slow, but it's building behind the scenes, right? The Page of Pentacles is building it behind the scenes. Maybe it's not coming out to fruition, but it is happening behind the scenes physically, right? We can amp it up too and take our power back and say, like, this is what I want, and create from within, because your external will match the within. And then I have the Seven of Swords, which is like the nefarious that is keeping our financial system in the whole thing. That's what.
I'll just keep going here. Yeah, actually, I got that 7 too, Marcia. And there's a lot of not very good things being said about. It's not being shown what's going on with the financial system. A lot of it's being kept secret. But right now, what a lot of people are starting to take action, so they're starting to intuitively know that there's a lot going on. And with I did a pull on silver specifically. Let me know when you're ready to come back, Marcia. And All right, okay. So the three of wands is the root of it. So it represents people seeing silver in it. Yeah, right on, Marcia. So people are looking in a totally different direction. They're looking at the world in a totally different way as well, right? But the but there's still a lot of value with gold, obviously, and there's still a lot of control types still at the helm, right? But here's what I just absolutely love about this read is that we're moving forward, of course, as we know, into the age of Aquarius. So we're starting to see more of that shift starting to happen. And what I got from Spirit for the bottom line here is essentially these three cards. So if you look in the middle there, there's our beautiful priestess. So that to me, it represents the divine feminine in an absolutely amazing card. So people are beginning to take action, and they're starting to intuitively know that silver, particularly silver in this read, is valuable. I mean, they're obviously seeing it. It's been going up. It's tripled in the last year, so it's just incredible. So mother is making all this happen, and this card is also directly connected to Uranus as well, and Uranus is the one that's also bringing in more of the freedom to us as well, and it's waking people up massively right now. We're starting to see people starting. I mean, I went on to the silver gold bullion, and I went to see how much it was actually priced at, and a lot of silver you can't even get. There was only like a few no name 100-ounce bars was the only thing that you could get. You couldn't get any coins, couldn't get any 10 ounce or 10 ounce bars. So there's a silver shortage right now. They can't fulfill their contracts that countries are starting to call in their contracts. So yeah, it's an interesting time for silver specifically right now.
And I love the fact that you got that one, the high priestess. It's going within. Excuse me. It's going within, checking your intuition, right? Leading the flow, just kind of like stepping into the flow, because there is so much manipulation and corruption surrounding it. It is totally being held down. If you're not going within your intuition, you're going to believe in the corruption and the messages being like fed to you, right? So to go into your own inner world and letting your light lead you into what you want to do is the way forward, because every time like my voice goes like that, and then I lost my train of thought. I don't know. So yeah, that's it. But like I also have the levers. So the corrupt is going to be balanced out, and people are going to see to be able to chart their own way forward. What was I going to say? It was very, very important. Maybe it'll come back. But,
Larry, did you want to jump in?
Yeah, I did pull one card, and it's temperance. And again, it's an angel mixing water from one cup to another. And this represents really the inner alchemy. We need to go inside, as both Jerry and Carol and Marcia have been mentioning. Go inside. Everything that you will ever need, you will find inside.
that's the message of the high priestess as well. And I remembered what I was just going to say, right? When I was going to the store to buy little coins of silver, because it was in the middle of COVID when I was doing this. And then I stopped doing it, right? Because I wasn't seeing any fruition of it. I shouldn't have stopped doing it. And then I shouldn't have stopped buying like crypto either. But there's this sense of like, am I being crazy? Am I being crazy? Like people think I'm being crazy. Like, why am I spending money on like silver when it's worth nothing? Right. But that was like following your intuition, following your like inner flow, not really listening to the noise. And I think that speaks not along the lines of silver, but along the lines of just charting your way forward right now, moving forward with a lot of different things, right? Even if it's not accepted in the norm, that's okay. If you feel strongly about it, if you kind of just experimenting with it, if you're just kind of playing with it, do it. Right. And you're not hurting anybody. Like the only thing that you have to be aware of is karma. If you're doing something that's going to hurt somebody and give you karma, then don't do it. But like, what's the problem of like doing experiments, like seeing where this goes, seeing where that goes, opening your mind and seeing beyond what's being fed to you. I think that's a huge, huge message that's coming through, you know?
Beautiful. Yeah, I think that's going to be a huge topic going forward is
Mm-hmm.
how the mind is programmed through the manipulation, especially different systems. But yeah, I mean, we can definitely see cracks in the system. And I remember when COVID hit, Bitcoin just kept going up like thousands and thousands of dollars. And I really don't know if that was being generated by people themselves, because I know there was like a big fear porn around toilet paper, and then everybody was running into the different department stores, and so I don't know if they were using the voice of God technique on a lot of people, or it's just pure because nobody knows who owns Bitcoin. I mean, it's been speculated that there's a three-letter agencies behind it, some Samoto guy nobody knows. So I think going forward, it's going to be we're going to need more clarity, more honesty amongst who owns what, and I think people are going to need to start paying attention, which is a beautiful thing because if there's all this corruption, which we were mentioning earlier, if it's being exposed on a level where it's impossible to ignore, I think we will people will start to demand, and that's the only way forward. If we don't face this corruption head on, our own corruption as well, then we're not going to do so well because this is a time where every stone has to be unturned to see where we're out of alignment, and we need to be brought back into harmony with the earth and become more stewards of the earth and not following some psychopathic, uh, whether it's U.S. dollar, Canadian dollar, whatever dollar, that's not what's important. We got to get back to what's important and leave the rest behind.
That showed so much. The whole, like, come on, people, like, we're stronger than that. Our mind is stronger than that. We have stronger mental capabilities than letting them scare us into this frenzy over toilet paper. Like, it's ridiculous. That shows how easily manipulated we are. And I'm not saying that in any way to take us down or to put shame on anybody. That is awareness, right? Like that whole thing was like kind of like an experiment on them to see how far they can push us. But we can also take that data and say, okay, so if they were able to get the collective to buy a whole shit ton of toilet paper when there was no in need to buy toilet paper, and there was no shortage of toilet paper, then what am I going to do moving forward? Right, I'm not going to believe and fall victim to all these manipulations that make absolutely no sense. So that's a learning lesson, right? There is no shame, no anything, no like anything about that. The shame is in not learning, you know.
Yeah,
So yeah,
yeah,
that
you're right, and it's trauma based, right, Marcia? Like there's, like if you watch the news, I mean, okay, I'm not judging any country here at all, but when I traveled to the States to go to Puerto Rico, what really kind of shocked me was that every single airport had CNN blaring on these like 60-inch screens. You couldn't go into a hotel. Even just to go have my breakfast in the morning, they had a 60-inch TV with CNN showing some terrorist organization, and you're trying to eat a meal. It's so infiltrated a lot of the areas that people tend to be around, and And when they get into trauma and they're traumatized, what happens? There's a commercial that comes on and it wants to sell you some fancy detergent. It's they're embedding these programs into our minds. So that I think moving forward is what Marcia has said is right. We have to protect our minds, and that only comes with awareness, so that we can understand what's what's being fed to us. Nature heals. Thank you for the beautiful background, Larry. Nature heals. These big cities. I think Rudolf Steiner was pretty much spot on when he said that, anything that's out of alignment with nature is going to cause some form of psychopathy eventually, because the harmonics of nature is who we are, is where we belong. It's like we can come out of the water for a while, but we really need to be more immersed into our natural environment more so than not. Hey, I like Vegas to visit. I visit, but I'm not going to live in Vegas. It's just that's going to be the more aligned currency going forward, is being with nature. And like, I bet I got this new herb oracle deck I absolutely love. And I think that, in the past, we used to all the kings and queens and stuff. What was really important to them were a lot of the very hard to get herbs, and different, like lavender. All these things were extremely valuable back in those days. And now, I mean, what do we got now? We got what? Parsley available to us, and dill, and a few things, that are very commercialized products. I think moving forward, we're going to put more value on a lot of the things that actually come from the earth, and that aren't just fake, made up, stuff moving forward. What's
I love
real
that you
is
said that, Jerry. I love that. I love that you put nature and currency together. It's really gonna spark my contemplation about the currency of nature. There's so much there. Excellent.
Thanks, Carol. Yeah, the, the new green, right? The new greenery.
It
Go
takes,
ahead,
okay,
Marshall.
so as Jerry was talking, I'm going to take out a coffee, but it takes like an inner kind of shift around what you believe is abundance. And because, yes, we live in this 3D world, we got to play the games of the 3D world. And like, honestly, it's a matter of like playing that game, staying in that structure, but twisting it, finding a way to be able to bring your awareness, your true self, your consciousness within that, so you can sit in your consciousness, your true self, and your divinity. But then I also asked the cards, like, what is the advice for humanity? But I just kind of like jumped. So, a revamp on what people think is, I'm really feeling this strongly, a revamp of what people think of as abundance, right? Um, yeah, we got to have our bills paid, and yes, we got to have our roof over. So absolutely do that. I'm not saying like quit your job or do anything like that. I'm not telling anybody what to do, but like figure out a way to bring in a different kind of aspect to abundance. And one thing that's worked for me is simplifying, right? Like living in the city, I don't need as like I just went Boxing Day shopping. We have zero stores here. There's no Sephora, there's no Aritzia, there is no Guess, right? Those are all my stores. There's, so there's like Ardene's, there's like Shoppers, there's like Walmart, right? So I had to come into a place where I'm simplifying, and I feel so grateful for that, because it also put me in a place where it made me assess whether or not I needed all those things, which I actually don't need all those things. Also, like the amount of food that we eat, the grocery bills. I'm not saying like cut down on the amount of groceries or change how you eat, but I honestly feel that that is also another way to keep people in lack, is that whole kind of like habit of every fucking thing we do is around food. Why is that? We don't need to eat that much. We don't need to eat that much, right? And like that is, you know, my my husband is like that. Like he goes and buys like huge things of cheese. I'm like, we don't eat this cheese. Why are you buying such a huge thing of cheese? We don't need that. But it's like a habit, right? It's like that thing of lack. It's that thing of need, you know? So it's like if we simplify our life, then we're able to revamp internally what our idea of abundance is. And so that brings me to my deck, right? And I asked what the advice is for people, the collective moving forward within what we're talking about. And I got the Six of Swords. So all the things are really different. So the Six of Swords, I'm just going to go with numerology and the swords, right? So the numerology of the six is like compassion and going within. So yeah, it's like to be compassionate about yourself as you sift through all these like belief systems that you have been like exactly that. Like, what is your thing about abundance? Be slow, be gentle, be discerning, be compassionate to self around how it came up, where it came from, what you want, and what you want. That seems to be a theme happening within the last couple of days. Hey, Jerry, like this, like compassion, sifting through your own things, your own kind of indoctrinations, your own belief systems, your own way of being. It's like a complete revamp from the inside. Did you want to say something? No?
No, I resonate totally with what you're saying, that you're talking about some deep resonant beliefs and programming. We have to figure out which ones are, you know, that's keeping us in a certain position. So it's understanding how these beliefs can be detrimental and allow us to not expand, keeps us limited, right?
Because when we're wanting so many things, like I want a bunch of things, right? I want my new room to be beautiful, but I'm not going in a place of lack and like want and like, I'm going in the flow. I know that it's going to be created because I'm creating it in my inner self. And there is no possible way that it won't match my outer self. So instead of going into this place of impatience and need and want and like force, I'm going into the place of flow. And that is aligning with abundance, right? That need, that want, that need to have like fucking um the things that society tells you you need to be successful. That's what I'm talking about. Like, see whether or not that fits in your heart, right? So I also got the Queen of Swords, and the Queen of Swords is exactly that. It's like using your intuition. So it's like using your compassion and also using your intuition to kind of sift through the inner world, right? And then I have the Knight of Wands and the Shape Shifter. It turns into the Shape Shifter. Again, these are very different. So the Knights are like, Jerry, I need your help. Knight of Wands.
Knight of Wands. That's taken action with heart being led with our heart. So
It
yeah,
fits with the Queen of Swords, right? Using your intuition to sift through the mental, led by your heart, going into your portal of your heart to shapeshift where you
and
want to take it.
and
Oh my
creating
God.
with your words as you speak, right?
Wow. Again, aligned with the Queen of Swords, thoughts, words, beliefs, right? Absolutely. And then we have the Four of Pentacles. So the foundation, the Four of Pentacles, which changes into the Four of Trees. So the foundation, the trees are the foundation, the trees are the root, right? So go into your root, know that you are safe, your root chakra, the thing of your safety, your abundance, all those things, harmonize that, right? What is it that's going to make you feel safe? Is it a shit ton of money, or is it time and love, right? So
Mm.
I'm like, I have this mantra going on right now, and I'm manifesting, and I'm bringing it in, and I'm using symbols, and I'm using different things, and I'm using that binary code. So I say the binary code, and then I say what I want, and I visualize, right? So I want connection, I want love, I want time. I want an expansion of consciousness. Those are the things I want. Nowhere in that is saying, I want to renovate my entire house to make it like a palace. And I want to, which I do, but what I want more is time, right? So that's me kind of like being compassionate with myself, knowing I live in the 3D world and I do have 3D wants, but also what is taking precedence is the time, the love, the connection with others, the connection with source, the expansion of consciousness. That to me is abundance. That has taken about 5 years to come to, right? A slow revamp, a slow kind of like digging of all these like belief systems, right?
Yeah.
And then the Five of Swords, again with the conflict. I don't know. I think that's the theme of today is like the fives, the Five of Swords and the Five of
Noticing
Wands.
that too, eh?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's just me. That's the advice for the collective to move forward in this like financial kind of like shift that we're going through. Things are already like there's no way silver would have climbed this much if things are not happening, right? Things are happening. Silver has been under um, ball and chain for how many years, guys?
Yeah. Carol, did you want to say something?
Yes, I do. Thank you. So, as Marcia was talking and pulling her cards, I pulled one card, and this is the world. And as you can
Ooh.
all see, there's a lot happening in this card, a whole lot happening in this card. But what I want to point out is this person in the middle of this wreath. This is us. This is our sovereign being. This is our free being. And going back to what Larry was saying and any of the manifestation that we were talking about is there's two wands in this hand, in these hands. They're like our magic wands. They are our, we have everything within us.
Beautiful.
These four corners are the world outside. So we have our inner world, we have our outer world, and we're truly free beings. Um, I didn't know this till recently, but in the book of Ezekiel in the Bible, these four corners are represented by a being that has the face of a man, the face of an eagle, the face of an ox, and the face of a lion. So I thought that's interesting. I don't know enough about those to talk anything about that, but it's really based on this inner picture.
Gorgeous.
Your true being, your true
I love
being.
I love it. I love it. Love it. Love it. Love it. Um, that you know what? And that card is really important because Mother wants to give us wants to have a relationship with us, wants us to feel abundant, feel her love and abundance. But if we keep in the mindset that, okay, I'll give you an example. I'm a gardener, so if I just attach to the definition that I need money to buy my seeds, to buy all my gardening equipment, I wouldn't be anywhere. But if I just come at it from the angle of how joyful would it be and how much beauty can I create, um, and, and, and and what ends up happening is like is exactly what did happen was people were started donating stuff to me. I started getting, my sister gave me all these pots, that 20-gallon pots, which are extremely expensive to buy, but there was somebody that had a grow op, or they had, you know, all these cedar trees and they had all these extra pots, and I got them all for nothing. I had my ex give me a whole bunch of glass panels because she knew I liked gardening. You know, spirit itself. You know, like the you know, I get free wood chips. You know, there's just so many blessings, countless blessings. People giving me seeds. You know, I just I I can't say that if you sit with definition and go, oh, well, it has to come to me in the form of American dollar or Canadian dollar, etc., etc. It's you're limiting the amount of the manifestation that can come to us. So the more that we're open to receiving it in any way that Spirit wants to surprise us, you know, that's how manifestation works. Is that we're just stay in the flow, stay out of lack and know that there's abundance everywhere. The etheric realm is infinite, and it all manifests into our reality. So we can pull anything out of really out of thin air.
There.
You know,
Yeah.
maybe we're
I call these wands. They're not wands. I don't know what they are that she's holding.
yeah. It's probably the masculine feminine um, principle aligned and balanced perfectly. So, that is actually also for Saturn. That's also a symbol for Saturn as well. That with the ring around, it's the geometric perfect pattern of all creation. That circle. So it's like the egg of creation. So and it's got the four elements on each corner. So everything's in perfect union. That card considers the most wholeness that you can get as a body. So yeah, it's yeah. I'll let somebody else jump in. Our next topic, I'm already anxious, or not anxious. I'm excited, not anxious. I'm excited about our next topic, which seems to be manifesting out of every time we have one of these sessions. We get some more things to talk about. It's exciting.
One thing that came to mind when Jerry was talking about his gardening and how things just kind of flow to him. And another thing that is wanting to be said is also don't let that energy flowing to you stay with you. And Jerry is like amazing at this. And he is like, if I don't know anybody else that should be blessed with abundance, it's this guy because whatever he has, he shares. Right? Like he's sending what type of seed is that? He's sending seeds to all of us in the mail so that we can all grow. What is that seed? Some
Um,
like detoxifying like seed root, something like that. So
yeah, Yeah, thanks, Marcia. It's essentially what we've been looking at through our classes. We've been looking at the power of herbs, and we can have another class about. See, there's another one we can have another class about, and we were looking at burdock as being such a
for that.
powerful healing,
Yeah.
yeah, and incredibly generous plant when it comes to seeds. Easy, easy, easy. Yeah.
That's not what I'm talking about. I'm not talking about burdock or anything. I'm talking about not letting that energy flowing to you stick with you and just keep it going. Use it, share it, be that whole unity consciousness, right? Like because abundance and money is energy. So if you, and that's why a lot of people that have hoard, eventually they just like kaput and go bankrupt because it's not
It's
flowing.
true.
It's not flowing. It's not flowing. Also, people that are so stuck in lack, like counting their pennies and like going to the store and seeing a pack of gum and being like, I can't afford a pack of gum. Buy that pack of gum because it's like energy, right? It's going to flow. But if you're so scared and so stuck and like so stuck in the energy of abundance, of money, of all these things, it's going to stick. It's going to get stuck. So keep it flowing, keep it flowing, keep it flowing. Even the littlest thing, keep it flowing, right? That's how to create abundance as well.
I see what you mean. Yeah. No, it is a mindset. I mean, hell, I everything you said there, I've experienced that lack too, and where does that usually come from? That usually comes from from relatives and parents, and that it's those subtle energies, and then the words that we were speaking when we were younger was, I don't have, I don't have, I don't have. And guess what? The body, the universe, the energies are going to start to create more of what we're putting out. So, and it's difficult for a lot of people to you can't just flip well, you can, but it's difficult sometimes to for people to understand that abundance can come just through having the mindset of abundance. So you understand yourself as being the creator, and that you have the ability to manifest just through
Mm.
intention. Does it happen automatically, like overnight, like right now? A lot of the times, no, it doesn't. It takes a little while. But if we just stay out of judgment of how it has to come to us, it's a lot easier. And exactly what you said, Marcia, you just stay in the flow of life and not go into resistance and judgments.
Also, I have my little squirrel out there. Also, it's a matter of like Jerry brought up the point about like how we were raised. A lot of us have a lot of other people's voices in our head about finances, about money, right? That all needs to go, so now all that trauma needs to go to create that 0 point, to create that ability to manifest. That is the fucking first step. So to create, like, look at all the limiting beliefs, look at all your childhood, see what traumas have come in. Get I never tell my kids, like, when they want something, I never say I don't have, right? I never say that because I've seen that happen to a lot of people, right? I'll word it differently. Not right now, right? Something like that. But we have different modalities to help release the energy surrounding those limiting beliefs that are blocking you from going into that manifestation 0 point field. If you're interested in doing that, I know I have to do a lot of work around that, the energy of exchange, the belief systems around money. I have definitely um, been indoctrinated with that through trauma, right? So that is the first step in having to release that. And then we go into the place where we are wanting to manifest and we visualize and we align. We align with abundance. It is not calling it in, it is aligning on it. It is believing that you are it. It is like aligning with the frequency of it. And then we surrender. That's just the basic steps of it. Yeah, so I don't know if you guys want to pull a message from Mother Earth to end this, and then we can carry forward and maybe do another one fully on manifestation like later. I know we have a
Sure.
whole bunch of things that we want to talk about in the next few days. New Year's is coming up. We want to go through the provinces, and then this manifestation and this financial like system just kind of came up out of left field. So I feel like that was important to discuss as well.
Yeah.
So yeah,
Yeah. Sure. Sounds good, Marcia. I'll do an oracle, and you
yeah.
guys can pull a card or two if you like to. And
I got lack. So that is like the mindset that we are renewing and looking at the illusions because it is an illusion. But we are in a place where we are being helped and protected and kind of pushed towards this change within and without. Because it's going to show us a mirror, right? Exactly what we were talking about. I cannot believe how these cards always hit so well. It's a mirror of the lack within us, which is going to mirror the lack within your external world. So it's always an inside job. And then the sword is the sword of justice, helping you to sift through all those limiting beliefs that is like the lack within so that you can create the lack without. That's the advice from Mother Earth.
well, I was reading this card yesterday. Did you want to go first, Carol? Ladies first.
I love you, Jerry.
When you asked about a card for the earth, I thought, I'm going to stick with the world card. I, I just think it's really good. But as I was looking for the world card, what is right next? Right, what's right there pops out with it is the sun card. So that is going to be my earth card as well.
Oh man, that's beautiful. Love that. Light code frequencies, the world card. Oh my God, it's beautiful. Well, I got my Oracle deck. My lovely daughter gifted me for Christmas. And I was reading this card last night, and it looks a lot like the Tower card. Um, it's actually called Jurga Sasha, which is transfiguration. So it's about being careful with poisons, anything that's like whether it's plant medicine or what you're intaking on a daily basis through social media. But it's also about allowing yourself to be changed. So I think somebody mentioned changeling earlier. Was that you, Carol? Yeah, because we are evolving into different beings, and so it's about allowing ourselves to stay in that flow, and to allow, like, and you got that sun card too, which is all about codes coming in, and and the world card is about the wholeness of the body and becoming more whole. So the more that we're allowing those codes, getting out in the sun, being out in nature, we are going to start to transfigure ourselves into more of those holistic beings that we were meant to be, and not the more of the robot type of what is it, transhumanism, that a lot of the different types of controlling energies want to experience through us. So it's a choice point for us to allow ourselves to change. Quit digesting the poisons that they're giving us, and start to look towards the sun and your own wholeness of who we really truly are. So I'll leave it at that.
Larry?
Yeah, I go back to the temperance card, which is really the inner alchemy. We are our own co-creators of with the universe, and we're not going to change our past. We should just be present in our eternal flow, and the flow, whatever event stream comes to you, you have to have the confidence that you will deal with it.
Beautiful. So I hope you guys enjoyed our chat about the financial systems and the change that we are all feeling and experiencing and seeing with our physical eyes, that are calling you to search within and see and plant the seeds of change from within. So I hope you enjoyed that. We will talk to you guys later, maybe tomorrow. And if you want to come join our Zooms, you're more than welcome to do that. We have a lot of exciting things happening in this, and we have a Telegram group that we made public, but you do have to reach out to get the link for that. So I hope to see you there, and we will catch you guys soon.